Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm back here into another video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at this condenser microphone. This is the FIFINE AM6 microphone, and it's a really good microphone that I noticed tries to really condense everything to make your life simpler and easier as it comes to using podcasting microphones. But before I get into all that, just make sure you subscribe just so you can stay tuned for more videos like this and other tech reviews in the future. So starting off with this microphone, there's a lot to unpack here, right? So with this microphone, it's an RGB lit microphone, and if you watch me for a long time, I always say the same thing when it comes to RGB lit devices. In this case, this microphone is the RGB. It's good for ambient lighting if you're someone that likes that sort of stuff, and it honestly really doesn't add to the product, right? Whoa, big surprise. It just more so is for the effect and makes it look appealing to the eye and makes you want to take it. But with this, the RGB, it looks good. There's a whole host of different other colors you can choose from. You can choose ambient lighting and just play with it however you want. It looks good, but don't get distracted. It doesn't add to the device as for really any device on the market. So the things that really drew me in, especially for this microphone, is just looking at it firsthand is it is completely different to other 15 microphones and even the ones that they've made it for. And with this, they went for a whole different look. In fact, even adding the windbreaker on the microphone. Now, the windbreaker can be adjusted, which that's a good thing for me. You never know which angle you'd want to be recording with your microphone on, or which side you really want the windbreaker to be on, right? Like if you have a boom arm, which this microphone is compatible with boom arms, then you never know which angle really it's going to come out at, depending on how your setup is set. So it's good that you can change which angle you want the windbreaker to be on, and also at the same time you can just completely remove it if you don't want it there. If you want to put your own, or if you really just want to replace it, who cares? And you can just take it off. The more versatility, the better, right? But the thing I notice about the windbreaker too also is it's a little loose. If you play with it and tinker with it, there's a couple times it knocks off. Now it doesn't mean it knocks off for good or easy to break, but sometimes it just slips off the sliding portion of where it can be adjusted. And moving on beyond that, it has three dials, right? And the three dials, there's always going to be the gain and the audio monitoring dials when it comes to microphones. And then depending on which manufacturer, which company it is, they'll throw in a couple other things, or maybe just leave it at that, depending on which kind of manufacturer you're looking at. So there's going to be the big one at the front, which initially I thought was going to be for the gain or the volume, but no, that's just either to reduce the game volume if you're playing video games, or just increase the chat, whichever, or and you can just use it at any time. You don't really have to go into settings, even though you can use software for this microphone if you want to. And then the other two dials, there's going to be the volume, of course, and as well as the gain dial, just to tinker around and mess around with the gain if you're recording. And at the bottom, there's going to be also the noise reduction button. Now, this one, it's a little interesting. So when I tested it, right, so recording the audio with this microphone straight as I am right now, the audio sounds good. It sounds crisp to me. But when I recorded with the noise cancellation, I felt that it was doing too much. It sounded a little cracklier than it does just standard, right? The audio already sounds good to me, but then when you use the noise cancellation, in my personal opinion, it didn't sound as good as with the noise cancellation off. Of course, I know that's reverse, right? You'd think the noise cancellation will make it better, but in reality, you don't always have to use noise cancellation. And trust me, I know from using Final Cut and playing with audio, sometimes you can just mess with audio too much where it comes out not the way you want it to, especially if you do too much in throwing a whole bunch of effects in there. So noise cancellation isn't always the best, and you might as well just use the microphone without it if you don't need to use noise cancellation. And then at the bottom also, there's going to be the audio monitoring jack. And with the way the ports are put on this microphone, I especially like that at the back there is the USB microphone connector to connect it to whichever device you want it to connect it to, and instead of placing it at the bottom, because if you're going to swivel the microphone, I hate it when some manufacturers do this, is they put the port at the bottom and then to swivel the microphone to the other side, uh, changing the angles, you'd have to then disconnect the microphone and then reconnect. It's just it's very inconvenient. And doing this way, I think it's a whole lot smoother. Although they did keep the audio jack at the bottom, which kind of goes against my argument. But regardless, the most important thing is just how to connect the microphone to whichever device you're going to be using. And with this one, unfortunately, since it's a condenser microphone, um, it doesn't have XLR capability, and that is going to fall to personal preference if that is something you're wanting or needed. Unfortunately, this can only be connected via USB, and that's where the buck stops. And there's going to be the mute button at the top, which is touch capacitive. And the overall build of this microphone is one that condenses everything in a way where it just tries to make it as smooth as possible and easy as possible. Now, this microphone is not intended or designed specifically for live streamers, more so for podcasters. And that doesn't mean you can't use it for live streaming. You still can by all means. It's just the usage of it is going to be more suitable for if, say, you want to be recording a podcast, than if you want to go on Twitch or on YouTube and live stream, say, a video game or something along those lines. So it's just it's still capable, but not intended for that genre. And the microphone itself, it looks good, it works well, and it pretty much can work with any device as long as it's a console and it's compatible, so you can connect it to your computer, MacBook, PS4, PS5, whichever one you want to connect to, and it should still be able to work. And the microphone itself, and so the most important thing about the microphone or any microphone is always going to be the audio. And with this one, the audio is great. I really enjoyed using it, and I think the audio is good enough, especially what it is intended for. Right, you have to remember it's not really intended for live streaming, even though you can use it for that. It's more so intended for like actual videos and recording podcasts, which it does a great job at that. So if you're looking at it as just that, if that's something you want to do or you're trying to get into, then that's something I'd recommend the microphone for. I'd still recommend it if you want to use it for streaming, even though it's technically not advertised as that, still capable, but it won't be as good as if you're trying to use it for podcasting or recording a video. But at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. If you found this video helpful, I'd like you to subscribe just so you can stay tuned for more videos like this. Let me know what you think. I'm JEDIJA, and I'm out.